guys, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we have, what is his name? Fishback versus Sophie rain on the syntax. I think I want to talk about this topic because it's a very different type of tax, it's a very different type of conversation, and I think I want to speak on it. Because I think a lot of young persons are these persons that are making what 40 something million a year by just exposing themselves on the internet and letting younger females be inspired to try or to do videos content like that, and it's not good for the younger generation. So I think putting that high, I think they said 50%, but we're gonna check this video out and like see what they're actually talking about, and we're gonna watch these videos together and we're gonna give our reaction or what's on our mind in the comment section to hear what other persons have to say. But I think it's actually something good, but I hope they use the money for something great, much greater, because these government they trying to you know already. If you know, you know. But yeah, let's take a deep dive and let's watch these videos together. All right, but before we start, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. All right, and have a conversation in the comment section.
Well, I post on many platforms. I post content on Instagram. I post content on...
So basically, I think John Pierce was asking her what she does, and she said she posts content on TikTok. If you check out her TikTok, I'm not telling you to check, but if you look on her TikTok, you're not gonna see. You're gonna see like revealing videos and stuff like that. Like, it's crazy. And it's just channeling her followers, subscriber, whatever it is, to go to her main OnlyFans wife. So she doesn't do social media like that per se, because I've seen, I don't know, it's crazy.
TikTok and all the above, and I also post content on OnlyFans.
And these persons will, sorry to pause again, but these persons will not say they do X-rated or they do. Most of them. Some of them are just plain, blunt, straightforward. They're gonna say, yeah, they for a living, but
And honestly, I do a little bit of everything. I do little dancing TikTok videos. I'll post Instagram photos, and then obviously my OnlyFans content.
And would you describe it as pornographic, or what would you describe it as?
I mean, I wouldn't describe it as pornographic, but it's definitely adult content for sure.
So
it's the same thing. But guys, let me know what you think. Pornography and X-rated are adult only content. Isn't it the same thing as pornography? Isn't it the same thing?
what do you feel about James Fishback and his plan to tax you 50% as a sin tax for being a sinner?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Florida already has no income state tax. It doesn't exist. So it seems very selective, and it seems like it's a punishment.
James, are you there, James? Yeah, you are. I mean, Sophie says that that she feels like this is a punishment. Why are you punishing her?
Well, hey, Sophie, good to meet you. It's not a punishment at all. What it is a deterrent. I think Sophie recognizes that our state was better off when young women aspired to be teachers, small business owners, doctors, and lawyers, as opposed to creating adult content. I can respect Sophie Rain as an individual and still respectfully call out that I don't want thousands of young women who are in high school today to feel like the only way they can make a living when they graduate is selling adult content, video, photos of themselves on the internet. And so, Sophie, look, with all due respect, I know you're from Florida. I'm from Florida. We both love our state. I want what's best for you, and I want what's best for every single woman in our state, and that's not to be objectified and exploited by the OnlyFans.
It's not only women. You got the simps that can't control yourself, that will spend their life saving just for a reply. So it's not just the ladies only need help. The simps, the simps also, you have to give the consideration with them to like send. There should be a center for not just simps, but like persons having trouble, like stuff like that. It should be a mental center or something. Come up with something that can help those guys as well.
Owners.
Sophie, what's your response to that?
I feel like as adults, we are all able to legally make our own decisions. And I think that we should also educate a lot more on all of these opportunities that you're speaking of, because I just don't think that we should be singling out any individual for what they choose to do.
James?
Well, I want to single out drug dealers, Sophie. I want to single out people who are committing crimes in our society. And so,
Bro, you're so rich, but you're not educated enough, and you're just not there yet, because how she's explaining it and stuff, it's coming from a place of lack of knowledge. You know, you're so rich, you could have get someone to put an earpiece in your ears to help you articulate yourself better or position yourself better for this, because you're going up bad right now.
well, as governor, my responsibility is very simple. I want to make sure that there is a path. I'm not going to be one of those
But
Republicans
she's not
who's going
committing
to
any
attack
crime.
women.
And it seems to me that your initial assertions before we spoke to Sophie, that she was, that people like her on OnlyFans are enslaved, they're being exploited, and then you do an analogy just now to drugs and whatever, which are illegal, obviously. Nothing she's doing is illegal. It seems to be entirely of her own free will. She's very happy doing it. She's very popular doing it. Under the First Amendment...
Well, have you asked her that, Pierce? Have you asked her if she's happy?
Under the First Amendment of the US Constitution, what business is it of yours to stick your oar in and want 50% of her cash?
No, Piers, did you ask her if she was happy? Because she posted a video 2 weeks ago on International Women's Day where she was interviewing her former self, who looked...
Yo, at the end of the day, most of these persons that doing these OnlyFans, as I said it in the previous video, most of the interviews that I watch mostly Jamaican podcasts and stuff. But the point is, most of these persons experience trauma at an early age, so that's their only cope mechanism that they think. Most of them are coming from good backgrounds, good upbringing. Probably their mom was a principal, a teacher, a lawyer, doctor, whatever it is. Most of them, that's what I heard. Most of them. So they know they've been spoiled from a tender age, so they think differently than someone that brought up with struggle and stuff like that. So yeah, it's crazy. They're not happy. She's gonna say she's happy. I feel like she's gonna say so, but I don't think she's happy.
To be disappointed, who aspired to be, quite literally in Sophie Rain's own words, an astronaut. Sophie, you are smart. I know you. I know your family. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. And so when you're doing this little cute Spider-Man dance online and you're creating this adult content, know that that person that you used to be still wants something more out of you. And I, as the governor of the state, want every single woman in Florida to achieve their maximum potential.
Yeah.
Sophie?
I think just realistically speaking, I'm very happy with where I am, and I promise I would have never got to where I am without the platform. Like, I've built businesses outside of this. I am constantly, chasing new dreams and everything. Like, I'm very happy with where I am.
Yeah, Sophie, you come from a devout Christian family, I understand. You grew up, by your own admission, pretty poor. The family didn't have much money, relied on food stamps as a child. You were working as a waitress. You then went on OnlyFans. You said you got fired from your restaurant job and your boss discovered the account and so on. And now, obviously, you've become incredibly successful and rich doing this. What do your family make of your transition into this world?
They're actually very supportive of me. Definitely at first, they didn't really understand it and they were cautious of.
I think most of these parents are most like that supports, if they actually do support, if she's not lying. You could just show them a house. Imagine they're trying to pay off a house for years, and then this young little girl come up and then just boom, here's the key to a new house. Boom, here's a Lamborghini. Here's a Rolls Royce. Some things you're gonna just turn the block of your eyes and not pay attention to it. Meanwhile, a lot of other females are being exploited. And it's crazy, bro.
But I sat them down and I talked them through everything. I'm being safe. I'm doing everything legal. Like, I'm good, and they're very supportive of
And
where I am.
Are you genuinely happy?
I am. I would have never. I own my own house. I like who at 21 can say that? Like this has gave me so much autonomy over my life, and I'm just so grateful for the platform because I wouldn't have been here, especially in today's economy.
Right. I mean, James Fishback. I'm thinking like of say the Kardashians, people like that, right? They're always stripping off, and they're making millions, billions actually as a family from their bodies predominantly. They don't have any other discernible real talent. It's just stripping off and being, in the media, and it's been very successful. Does your sin tax apply to them?
The sin tax applies to adult content on the internet, whether it's OnlyFans or any other platform. Piers, let me just ask Sophie a question. Sophie, if the number...
I see what Piers is trying to do right here, but this guy knows how to articulate himself on an interview, knows how to, it's really good. Let me just say
of women doing OnlyFans tripled in Florida tomorrow, would that be a good or a bad thing?
Whoa, that's a really good question. Her eyes are like this. Hold up.
I think honestly, it would be a great thing. A lot of women are trying to find different ways to make more income in a, heavily damaged.
No. This guy just set her up to ruin herself. You hear what she just said? Every woman should try OnlyFans. Every woman. That's crazy. So you're telling me persons that just leave high school, I'm not even gonna go to children, but persons that just leave high school, persons that are lawyers, doctors should do it. Persons that don't have a job, persons that are old. It's in general speaking, but bro, I don't even want to think about it. But that's a stupid answer, bro. That's a crazy answer to give.
Economy. So I think that there should be those opportunities out there for these women to make an income.
Do you hear, Sophie? Let me ask Sophie
but
a
Sophie and I
that.
both agree. We both agree that the economy is badly damaged. I proudly voted for President Trump, Piers, in 2024, and I have to tell you that I am not proud of the work that he has done. We are not living in a golden age whatsoever. People in my state are struggling under the weight of this affordability crisis, and Sophie, Rain, and I see eye to eye that this economy is hurting a lot of people. I think that where we disagree is that the economy hurts people, and Sophie Rain wants to say, let's get them to join OnlyFans. And what I say is, let's get new job training, especially for women. Let's create new pathways, new opportunities at our public universities, career technical school. Let's create a statewide internship program for anyone under the age of 25 to get a great paying job that will teach them.
Well, now you guys are earning 50% of their income. You should use that money to, create those opportunities that you're talking about. And then, persons will start looking up to you.
New skills in the 21st century. So Sophie, you and I see eye to eye where we, I think, disagree is the solution. When you say that tripling the number of OnlyFans creators is a good thing, that speaks to the damage of the economy. What I want to do is create a real economy that allows people like those women to do something dignified.
Or you're missing, yeah, but James, I mean, you keep talking for Sophie, I've noticed, right? I think you should let her speak for herself, not least because she's worth $43 million. But the point I would make is, what about, the argument that women are empowered to make their own decisions about their own bodies, their own choices, their own careers.
So let me ask you a question, Piers. If a woman is empowered to make their own decision about their own body, and a woman struggles to pay the rent, do we then encourage that woman to sell one of her kidneys to pay the rent and say it was her own decision? No,
she's not selling her kidney.
Women.
She's not selling her kidney.
Hold on. But where do you draw the line, Piers? She is imperiling her future as a mom, as a worker. You just heard Sophie say she was fired from her
as a mother? I don't get that.
Piers.
How does she imperil her future as a mother?
Piers, bro.
Well, let me tell you how. You just heard Sophie tell you that she was fired from her job when her boss found out her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She was fired from her job.
Yeah.
And now, with all due respect to Sophie, what are you going to tell your daughter in 10 or 15 years when all of these images are all over the internet and your daughter is being bullied in middle school and was told that you guys were Christians? With all due respect, what do you say then? It creates a real weight, a real tension between a mom and her children.
Behind the camera, behind everybody, like when you're just at home by yourself with your kids or with your family, what do you explain? how do you explain to them, telling them that you because you lose your job you give up and just start selling yourself, your body to the world? That's a question that only you have to look into 5 years from now. You have to really look at and say, damn. Unless you just don't have no morals or no regrets, no. I mean, kids gonna go to good schools and stuff and all of that, but that mental weight on them.
And of course, a worker and her employer, I don't want to encourage women to go on OnlyFans and then get fired from their job and then have a real fight at home about what mommy did on the internet last week.
Okay, Sophie?
I mean, I'm only 21. I haven't even thought about having kids yet. But also, I think that the main discussion here is sin tax. And like in the state of Florida, there's already no income tax. So, and that's also one of the main identities of Florida, is that it is a no income state tax. And I think the main issue here is you're attacking women already on the site making money.
I'm attacking men as well.
Exactly. There's multiple people on the site, and not everyone does adult content. OnlyFans is a massive platform, and you can do anything on there.
She doesn't get it. It's not the site only. If you're only making, well, he will explain.
Not everything is adult content based.
Well, I think to be fair to him, Sophie, he's not saying that everyone on OnlyFans should get the sin tax. He's just saying the people that he considers to be sinful should get a tax, and
Right.
you're one of them. He thinks you're a sinner. What do you say to that?
Well, sin tax is, he's proposing that it is going to attack everyone on the OnlyFans site. So does that include all of, the cooks on there that are just selling their recipes?
No, it doesn't, Sophie. No, it doesn't.
So how do
Sophie,
you single
please don't
out?
be disingenuous.
How do you work
you
out
single
who's
it
a
out
sinner
very
and who's
simply.
not, James? Are you going to be launching a sin purge? How are you going to do this?
What?
Well, we're going to put you in charge of it, Piers. And so
I
the
have
way
a
you do
very
it
broad
is...
mind, James. I think if
I
people
know,
people are obeying the law, they can do what they like with their own lives. What's it got to do with you?
Well, you know what? So what do you say then?
Yo, Piers is a weird guy, bro. Piers is a weird guy.
Because prior to slavery being illegal, they were obeying their law. They owned 100 black people. Does that make it okay? Of course not. Let me get to the very specific point that I think
Why
Sophie
do you
made
think
in good
she's
faith.
a slave? You have of all the arguments you've used.
That's
Some
called
of the
an
points you've
analogy.
made. Some of the points
That's
you've
called
made.
an analogy.
But this
Piers.
idea that somehow Sophie is some sort of slave, I'm just not buying that.
Look, Sophie may not be a slave. She hasn't made $43 million. Don't lowball her. She's made over $100 million. When I talk to young women in our state...
Is that right, Sophie?
That is correct, yes.
You've made over $100 million.
In a span of
Sophie-
2 years, yes.
Sophie, if you want to be my running bate and be the lieutenant governor of Florida, it'll cost you $10 million. You'd be happy to do it. I'd be honored to have you.
Sophie?
No, I don't think so.
You just gotta quit
Out of
OnlyFans.
interest, Sophie, I have to say, I mean this with no disrespect, but I'm not aware, I haven't viewed your work. What is it that makes you so popular?
I think that I'm just very transparent with my audience. I'm never over here encouraging people to try and join the site. I'm very clear on the pros and cons of it also, but I'm just very transparent.
So then hold on, what are the
life.
cons? Then what are the cons? What is a con? Let's be transparent. What is a con of joining OnlyFans?
I mean, exactly like you said, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that OnlyFans is a great site. Some of the points you are making are correct, like,
Perfect.
It's damaging to the future. And I want people to understand and educate themselves, but women still should be able to make that decision for themselves at the end of the day. And they shouldn't have to worry about
Sophie, if you had a- Sophie, if you had a-
I'm raising
had
a
a-
tax to disincentivize and deter it. I'm not banning it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sophie, if you had a daughter, would you want her to do what you're doing?
I mean, I would let her decide. It's up to her.
Whoa. Nah. That's tough. You know the things that you go through, and you telling me your child come into this world, you would want them to go through the same shit. Nah, that's crazy.
Decision.
But do you think as a mother you would want that?
I think that I would be supportive of it no matter what. Yes.
Whoa.
Sophie, would you be supportive of your son selling crack cocaine?
No, that is illegal.
What?
Right.
Okay, so why, what is this difference between legal and illegal? Why can't we just say it's moral or immoral?
Because
there are
one's legal and
societies
one's
where.
Because then where do you draw the line? Where do you draw
Okay,
the
let me
line? A
ask
lot
you.
of people
Let
have
me ask
different
you. In
opinions.
Afghanistan, you can marry an 8-year-old. It is quite literally legal in Afghanistan to marry an 8-year-old. And so, does that make it right, Sophie?
We don't live in Afghanistan.
Right. What are you
Sophie,
talking about?
it's an
We live in
analogy.
America.
It's an analogy. It's an
I know, but
analogy.
the
It's a
analogy, it
ridiculous
doesn't make sense
analogy.
in
You're
this
choosing a
term.
country
In this
with totally
situation,
different
it doesn't
laws.
make sense.
In the United States of America, Sophie Rain,
Prior to slavery
Sophie Rain
being
obeys the same
illegal,
laws that you do, James.
No, Pierce. Prior to slavery being illegal, would you have opposed slavery because it was legal? It was legal, Pierce. It's okay if it's legal, right?
Sophie?
Oh, you're asking me? I mean, I didn't live back then. I'm just here to talk about what we are here to talk about, which
It's
is
an analogy.
syntax, and
Of
it's a
course you didn't
selective.
live back then, Sophie. Of course you didn't. This is my issue. I'm here to have a good faith conversation with a former Florida resident, a current Florida resident. And my point to Sophie is this, is if you want to keep doing this, then we're going to take 50% of what you earn and we're going to use it to raise public school teacher pay. Our public school teachers are not getting paid enough. We're going to use this as a resource to fund the empowerment of young women who have signed up to do something dignified, with all due respect, unlike you, and be a public school teacher, educating, inspiring, and motivating
Do you know what,
the next
James?
generation.
You know what? Here's what I would.
That's good. I like that. That's good. Yeah. Pay teachers more, pay doctors more, nurses, civil servants. Hey, bro, yeah, that's a good way to raise. So let them do all the work. Let them do all that. Let them do all the OnlyFans they want to do, and raise the pay for persons that actually doing something to society to help society. Right? Yeah, I'm 100% agree with that. I don't think anything is wrong with a 9 to 5, but if you're passionate about what you're doing or you love what you're doing, nothing is wrong. And there's levels to 9 to 5. There are levels to 9 to 5. You have 9 to 5s that pay you way beyond minimum wage, and there are 9 to 5s that pay you above and beyond minimum wage. Triple. 5 times more than minimum wage, and there is just the type of job you want to do. All right, so yeah, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. All right, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section.